Okay, 8 July 2025, Ontology. The basic idea, the root idea. Consciousness is no thing. Consciousness is presence. Consciousness is being, is presence. Presence as concept is a present thing. But this sign thing points beyond things to their presence. Ontology is essentially this questionable pointing. I use ontology for fundamental ontology. Whether there is fundamental ontology depends on whether this pointing makes sense or whether this pointing succeeds, because I will not claim that it makes sense or doesn't make sense from God's point of view. My semantics is situated. Can a sign point beyond things to their presence or being there? Ontology as fundamental is the attempt to signify presence. And I say that consciousness is this presence, and that consciousness as presence is being itself. Now, pluralism follows from grasping consciousness as presence. For presence is not some kind of stuff. Even neutral monism, which is better than dualism, reifies consciousness, makes it a thing that is present. This reification is sort of the doom of ontology. This reification would be the misunderstanding of ontology. Forgetting the ontological difference is losing ontology altogether. Why is this so easy for us? So I've been thinking about this, and I have a proposed answer for why we do this, why it is so hard to understand consciousness as presence. Because the core of dualism, and I mean the dualism that we mostly take for granted, the core of dualism is the assumption of truth as correspondence and objective reality. So these are obviously related, right? Truth is correspondence and objective reality. A true statement corresponds to objective reality. The emptiness of both concepts is overlooked, ignored. Truth as correspondence is an empty promise. Objective reality is a bluff, a confusion. Both of these mystifications stem from seeing is believing. So the confirmation of a prediction is personal or situated. So Husserl's contrast between the signative or empty intention and the fulfilled intention is relevant here. Wittgenstein's picture theory is relevant here. You tell me, you predict that there will be a red ball in the closed cardboard box. Maybe you tell me this on the phone. I open that box, and sure enough, I see with my eyes a red ball. I have confirmed your prediction. But this is situated and sensory or qualitative. So if we care about empiricism or empirical science, we cannot lose the qualitative. To lose the qualitative is to forfeit the empirical in empirical science. It is to sort of betray the empirical object as such. For theological reasons, unwittingly. Presence is quality in general, which is to say quality. The reification of consciousness, of experience, leads or tends to lead to representational dualism, to some variety of indirect realism, or, at best, on the way to a grasp of consciousness as presence, to neutral monism. So I stopped off at neutral monism myself for a while. Experience as primal stuff of the world is the terminus of ingredient ontology. I would say the highest form of ingredient ontology, the top rung of a ladder that will be thrown away. So the neutral monist will say, only experience is. But what is this is?